A quick warning, the story you're about to hear may or may not include swearing and adult themes, so please keep that in mind if you have any kids around that you may not want to expose to such profanity. I'm in Gimpo Airport in Seoul, South Korea. My first flight left Toronto at 8:30 2 mornings ago and I haven't slept since. There's too much adrenaline and too much at stake. Since graduation, nothing has gone my way. I still don't believe that I'm here, that they haven't found a reason to reject my application, that some unexpected intervening circumstance hasn't gotten in the way of my arrival. Every security check has made me nervous. Did my parents rub weed on my body before I left? Did someone sneeze a cloud of cocaine onto my back at Pearson? Check-in isn't for another 4 hours, but there's nothing here and nothing to do. Since departure, I've limited my socializing. We're all similarly anxious, and friendships formed out of anxiety don't tend to last, so I kind of avoid those too. Besides, I don't like people that much anyway. Strangers make me nervous. My notebook is my best friend, and my characters are the only ones I can rely on. I know them better than I know myself. The airport has a coffee shop near the check-in desks, and once I get my boarding pass, I make my way over. The coffee shop has a terrace overlooking what I assume to be a highway, but there are no cars in sight. I left Toronto shivering at minus 15 degrees. Here, it's overcast and humid. I sweat through a Toronto Blue Jays cap that I haven't taken off since I first checked in. See, traveling has never been my thing, and the limited travel I've done has been with my family to destinations that were filled with way more family. This is my first time flying alone, and I should probably feel liberated, but all I can feel is anxiety. The news back home forecasts a little light rain and a nuclear warhead any day now. Kim Jong-un has been threatening to nuke the country, and based on my knowledge of him, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I was going to get a tattoo that said "fuck you and your atom bomb" before I left, but someone once told me that what I put into the world will come back to me in unexpected ways, and I thought it prudent not to test fate. The girl I sat beside on the way to Korea has found her way to the coffee shop. She walks onto the terrace and spots me. There's nobody else out there. I try to avoid eye contact. She told me about herself on the plane, and I listened out of courtesy, but right now all I want to do is be alone. I came here because I have no friends here. I came here because I wanted to feel special about leaving, and Plain Girl is killing my vibe. Is this seat taken? Not by anyone visible. Great, she says. She takes a seat and puts her bag in the chair adjacent. My imaginary placeholders are crushed. How's it going? I burned my tongue on my coffee. I lie. That sucks. Is it any good? I don't know. I burned my tongue. There's a bustle in the coffee shop, and to my dismay, the others have wandered over as well. We're joined by a girl from Alberta who sat across the aisle from me on the flight here, a girl from Ottawa who almost forgot her passport in the Tim Hortons in the Vancouver airport, and a couple from Brighton who we met when we landed in Incheon. They all talk for 40 minutes. I answer their questions when prompted, and I pray to the heavens that the nuke drops soon. Compared to Incheon, this airport seems more like a train station. It's older, quieter, and there are only a few places to eat. There's a fast food joint called Lotteria, but I'm trying to be vegetarian, so I fight the urge to stuff my anxieties with processed beef and confetti lettuce. Instead, I straighten my back, leave the table, walk over to security, and hope I'm not unwittingly doing anything illegal. My bag looks conspicuous, so they scan a cookie box I just bought and send me on my way. I notice that Plain Girl has followed me to security, but I pretend I don't see her, and I flee. For better or worse, I must not allow her to disrupt my solitude again. The rest of the new recruits are ahead in another coffee shop. How many coffee shops does this place have? This one's a lot smaller though, and there are only 5 tables. In spite of this, the other recruits have put them all together into a banquet-style layout, and it seems as if only a few of them have bought anything. The employees look like their bloodlust is growing by the second, or maybe I'm just projecting. Give in to your rage, I think, towards the young barista. Give in to your rage and spin kick someone. Please, for the love of God, spin kick someone. At the head of the table is one dude that is as irritating to listen to as he is repulsive to look at. On the plane, he asked me if I thought myself more Freudian or Kantian in a tone that implied that I would have to be stupid not to have an answer, and I told him that I was Kantian as a youth but became more Freudian after I had sex with my mother. Or would that be Thebian? He said I was interesting and would like to ask me some more questions, so I pretended to fall asleep. I do not want to talk to these people again. As I approach our gate, I notice that there are more recruits there, so I redirect myself to the smoking booth where I hope nobody will follow. There are only 4 men in here, all wearing suits either too big or too old to be considered fashionable. They look around 50, they speak loudly, smoke thin cigarettes, and pay no mind to my presence. I'm thankful for it. I throw another Belmont down the hatch. Departure gates are their own special type of purgatory. There's nothing to do but listen to music you've already heard, or watch people you'll never see again, or sit with your head bowed, sorrowfully recounting the series of events that brought you to that place. There's nowhere to go and nothing to see. You can't leave until they tell you it's okay, and more often than not, it's later than anticipated. It is a nowhere place, full of faceless people, full of disembodied voices. An hour till takeoff, and the only other person sitting alone is some guy that I found to be the most relatable person that I met since we left Toronto. We had a solid conversation back in Vancouver. He gave me a cookie that his sister made for him. He's an alright dude. I walk up. "What are you running from?" I ask him, putting my bag down on the chair next to him. I've decided that this will be my jump off. It's abrasive enough to let them know that I don't want to be their friend, but strange enough to make me appear mysterious and deep. "Huh?" he asks, taking off his headphones. He's right, that shit's stupid. "Oh, I asked what made you apply. Are you also looking for an eye-opening life experience?" I swear I've heard that term so many times in the past 10 minutes. Eye-opening life experience, or great way to travel, or excellent way to pay off your student loans. Nah, I'm just biding my time. There wasn't much to do back home. Didn't get many leads on jobs, so I figured a year away would be nice. Honesty is such a beautiful thing. He's a cool guy from what I can tell. We kill time by talking about the Raptors and griping about the massive buffoonery over at the coffee shop. He tells me that he forgot his belt back in Canada and that he's worried about whether or not he'll come across as less professional because of it. He talks about business ethics and strategy. He tells me about his experience getting a degree from the Phil Ivey program at Laurier. He tells me he has no dreams and no direction, and the fact that he doesn't lie to sound more together makes me want to be his friend. By the time we board, I'm just about ready to weave us some friendship bracelets. We board the plane at 8 p.m. as I sit down and stipulate my isolation plans. I will only make friends with people I would be friends with back home. I really don't expect to make many friends, especially because I'm an asshole. What up, y'all? This is the second story for E2 in Korea. If you are new here, this series exists as an outlet for us to tell our stories and our experiences as E2 English teachers in Korea. Now, of course, many of these stories are mine. Some of them are somewhat fictionalized, but generally they're as honest as they possibly could be. Now, I'm not going to specify which stories are my stories and which stories are those of our listeners and of my friends, because that would kind of defeat the purpose. These are our stories. So if you have a story that you think is interesting and you would like to be put into my voice and worked into whatever this weird concoction of stories into one perspective is, send them over. The email is e2inkorea@gmail.com, and I will do my best to work them into whatever the flow of this will be. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this does have a narrative beginning, middle, and end. As you can tell, the person from the perspective writing, which is my perspective when I was in my early 20s, I was a complete dickhead even though I knew about it. But that is not to say that it needs to follow the exact line that I had created for myself. So, if you have a story that doesn't fit, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. We're here for each other. That being said, I thank you guys for listening. I know this is a new thing, and I know that maybe you guys don't even exist, but if you do enjoy this, feel free to email me anyway. Send me a shout. Be like, this is dope. I want more of this. Or if you hate it, just be like, yo, this is whack. Get rid of it. And I won't, but at least I'll read your email and feel bad about it after. Anyways, it's about to be summer. I'm about to have a baby. And with all that's going on, I hope you're doing well in your life. Peace, fam.